Brian Noble, how displeased, disappointed are you with the performance against Toulouse this evening, ending Bradford's unbeaten start to the season?
Yeah, very disappointed. They were better than us in every facet of the game, really. It's difficult to get beyond that. Some of the things that we pride ourselves on, they were better than us at. It was very ready, they looked very fresh. The first half, we made a couple of defensive mistakes that cost us dearly for 12 points, and then didn't execute a couple of offensive things. Had we done, it would have been a different story at half time, but I thought the second half they out enthused us and they out scrapped us, and pretty much every facet of the game we'll be disappointed with when we look at that. But yeah, it's important that it's a bit of a wake-up call into how hard we have to work most every week, and I think that's the game of rugby league. It's a humbling sport. So you don't get the fundamentals right, you can be embarrassed.
Has this come as a surprise and shock to you, Brian, the manner of the nature of this performance?
Well, not really, because compartmentalise, you look at some individual efforts in and amongst the team efforts have cost us dearly this evening. You know, it's a good group, and I'm not going to change my my impressions upon the group, and I know that they'll all be very disappointed. And I think basically I just mentioned the fact that the honeymoon period's over now. We have to keep working as hard as we did in pre-season, and our mentality needs to change when we're playing all these teams.
How much of a factor was that wind? No secret, it was 40 miles an hour out there at times, but it certainly felt that Toulouse got to grips with that a lot quicker and used it to their advantage a lot more than Bradford did.
Yeah, I don't disagree with that. I think the wind was a factor, but it wasn't the factor. It created some opportunities for them that we didn't create, the wind. And I thought, one of the deflating moments was the kick-off the second half. When they took that ball, it just gave them a leg up, and I think physically it became really, really hard for us. So there's a lot of lessons for us to learn. Genuinely, I think it's a wake-up call. It's important that we don't get carried away with the fact that they're a full-time team. They're the benchmark now. So now we've got a new team with a benchmark, and it's for us to work hard and get up to their standards.
What's the most disappointing aspect of this performance, Brian? Is it that you didn't see much creativity from that spine, from the attack?
I don't think we had much ball. It's the truth, with the wind and the way we were giving it and the errors. I think we're on the back end of a 5-2 penalty count. I think we only had 13 sets in the first half, didn't finish them very well, and even less sets in the second half. So it's difficult to get any fluidity. I think the one set where we got a back-to-back set, we scored a try on. So there's a lesson for us there about building pressure and not expecting to do something every time somebody carries the ball. But we go again. We get to go again next week, a week at a time. But it's the start of the season. It's round 4, I think, and it's important that we learn the lessons of this trip.
Can you see? I know it's raw at this moment, but can you see any good from this first defeat? That unbeaten record has been and gone now. It's firmly about a reaction for next week.
Well, it was always going to happen. We're going to get beaten at some stage. Why not get beaten by the title contenders? They're the only full-time team in this division, I think. So they do have an advantage. They played 2 or 3 games less than us, so that element of freshness showed tonight. I thought, with the travel that we had to do, but it's generally not an excuse on my part. We should have been a whole lot better than we were this evening. So I've learned over a long time not to get too carried away with this and make sure that we learn the lessons from it. We don't become a bad group overnight, and we don't become a bad team overnight, but there are certain things that we have to stop doing and certain things that we have to implement to be a better team than we are right now.
Tom Holmes had to leave the field with injury. How did that affect everything? Because all of a sudden you're then having to play Jordan Lilly at fullback. Hallis has to interchange with Mitch Suter, so his impact as potentially coming on as another forward is negated.
Well, we had everything tonight. The A to Z of what goes wrong in rugby league, to make 4 or 5 changes in and around our team to keep trying to compete. We've got a few injuries that we're going to have to take assessment of, but they don't look good. It's the first time this has affected us at the moment. So it's important that we respond in the right way. I'm big on responses, and we should be big on responses. It's important that we learn the lessons of tonight, definitely. We get back, lick our wounds, and we get to go again. You know, it's the start of the year. I did say it'd be around 8, 9 or 10 before we get a true reflection of what we're about. And I think that's been reinforced by the result tonight.
What's he done, Tom Holmes, Brian?
He has a chest injury of some description. We won't know until he gets a scan on Monday when we get back to the UK. With a couple of other injuries that might affect people for next week, but you know, we've had other people come into the team, and we'd be excited about what they bring as well.
Who else has picked up injuries?
I think George Tafua's got a slight hamstring. We don't know what that's about. We'll assess that again tomorrow. And Wonga Blake had an injury in the first half, which restricted some of the things that he's doing. And a few bits and bobs in and around the middle that we need to look at. But the most disappointing aspect of this evening is that we expected to do a whole lot better. We're a good group, and I just think that reinforcement of the nature of this game. You've got to be hungry every game. I'm not saying that we weren't hungry. What I'm saying is I think we were given a lesson in the small things this evening.
The area, obviously, you want to see improvement, you want to see growth from the team, but is there a pattern, you know, a bit of inconsistency there that you're seeing, you know, a lot of errors and penalties creeping in?
The game of rugby league is you have to play as a unit. You know, I think Toulouse showed tonight that they were concise, they were precise, they were all knew their jobs and their roles. We didn't look that way tonight. I'm not getting carried away with it, because we can look exactly the same next week and look a whole lot better. And at times this year we've looked like a really very good team, and that's what's brought the confidence. And I'll bring the element of downside as well. People see that think the world's ending. It's not. We got beaten by a better team tonight. It doesn't make us a bad group. It means that we've got to apply ourselves a little bit better at the right times. I thought, had we scored a try just before half time, there'd have been a different reflection on the game. And we bombed 2 tries, 3 tries, and against good teams you'd only get so many opportunities. We also did a couple of things uncharacteristically defensively, which let Toulouse in. So the first half was more of a barometer of probably where we're at. I thought the second half we let some really soft tries in, which is not us, and that's that element of, you know, that element of not belief, that element of realisation that it's a tough game, and if you clock off for 1 second, somebody's going to get you. Especially the good teams, and they were good tonight. They were better than us. There
were 2 changes made, Eben Skir, Kieran Gill. Were those just rested, or is there any injuries to Kieran and Eben?
There was injury to Eben. He didn't travel with us, so we need to see how he is on Monday, get a full assessment of a leg injury that he has. Kieran Gill missed out tonight. We picked a different lineup. He's probably thankful at this moment in time, Kieran, because but that's the nature of the beast of our squad. You've got to be on top of your game. Well, the reality now is that everybody knows that you've got to play well to stay in the team.
Is that now, like you say, Bradford will be under the microscope after this, Brian? Is it all about how you come out of this? Obviously, you've got some injury, adversity, but you know, ultimately, it's going to be how the side show a response going into that big Challenge Cup game at Salford on Friday.
Well, it always is. You know, we've had some good games at the start of this year, and the fixtures come. You know, we're a narrative for Friday now. You know, we've got Salford with the dramas and crisis that are surrounding what they're doing or not doing, who's going to play, who's not going to play. We probably won't know till Thursday or Wednesday, and then we're on the back of a poor defeat. So there's some good narratives. It's you know, it's important that we respond really well on Friday. And play a whole lot better than we did tonight.
Is it fair to say they'll be soul searching, or is it far too early to go down that route?
I don't think it's soul searching. This is a good group, and with some good pros in there who understood we've underperformed tonight. It's probably more of a wake-up call, and the honeymoon period's over. for all of us, you know, as staff, we have to look at ourselves. Did we do the right things? Did we travel properly? Did we give them the right information? Are we giving them enough information? Are we on the field enough? I think the vagaries of part-time football and the element of travel with Toulouse and having to play every week and fixture schedules, a lot of these people are part-time, so we need to look at all aspects of what we're doing, and that includes myself and Greeny and all of the staff.
Were you happy that the side prepared and you know, were ready for this battle today?
Yeah, I think they're a good group, and I, in many respects, I'm not pleased. I'm never pleased when I get beat. I suffer badly with defeat, but it's come at the right time. It's at the start of the year, and it just means to say, well, probably we're not quite as good as maybe some people are saying we are, and maybe we're not quite as good as internally sometimes we think we are. So it's good. It's not nice, it's not good, but I learned a long time ago you treat both winning and losing the same. You know, they're imposters at best of times, and you just got to work out what you're doing and what you're not doing.
And just, I know it's with one eye finally, Brian, on next Friday. What's your understanding of Salford? Are you expecting them? Are you hearing they're going to come out of that special measures so they can play their full strength team? Or
I've no idea. I think that's the problem for everybody. It's a problem for you journalists. It's a problem for people that are looking on the game. Nobody's got a clue. Somebody needs to stand up and actually say what the situation is. So all the Castleford people were scratching their heads of whether the game was going to go ahead. So somebody needs to say something Monday or Tuesday, but that doesn't affect us. We're on the back of a bad performance. The only relativity for that for us is that we need to get ready for what's possibly their best team on Friday night, and we'll try and do that.